What if the healthy breakfast you forced yourself to eat this morning, whether it was that bowl of steel-cut oatmeal, the slice of whole wheat toast, or even a simple bowl of fruit, is actually the biological trigger locking your belly fat in place for the next 8 hours? We have been conditioned for decades to believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We are told we need to stoke the metabolic fire the moment our feet hit the floor. But for many of you watching, following that advice hasn't led to endless energy or a lean physique. Instead, it has led to a stubborn spare tire around your midsection that no amount of crunches, cardio, or calorie counting seems to touch. You are doing everything right, yet your body is responding as if you are doing everything wrong. This isn't just about vanity or struggling to zip up your favorite pair of jeans. This is about losing a critical biological function known as metabolic flexibility. When you are metabolically flexible, your body effortlessly switches between burning food for fuel and burning your own body fat for fuel. But when you lose this flexibility, your metabolic machinery gets stuck. The visceral fat sitting around your midsection stops being just passive energy storage. It actually transforms into a toxic, active endocrine organ. It starts flooding your liver and your entire system with inflammatory cytokines, physically driving that middle-age spread that feels impossible to fix. So, how do you know if your metabolism is broken? The red flag is undeniable, and I guarantee you have felt it. It is the afternoon crash. It hits you right between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. like clockwork. You feel a sudden wave of brain fog, irritability, maybe you get hangry or shaky and feel like you need a coffee or a snack just to function. That isn't just being tired, and it certainly isn't just getting older. That is a biological distress signal called reactive hypoglycemia. It means your metabolic machinery is trapped in a glucose-dependent loop, completely unable to access your own massive battery of fat stores for fuel, leaving you exhausted while carrying around pounds of unaccessed energy. To understand exactly why this happens, we have to decode what I call the morning paradox. You see, your body is actually designed to burn fat the moment you wake up. In the early morning hours, your body naturally surges with a hormone called cortisol. Now, we often think of cortisol as the stress hormone, and usually, that's a bad thing. But in the morning, it is actually your best friend. This surge is your body's natural coffee. It activates an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase, which unlocks your fat cells and releases stored energy into your bloodstream to get you moving. But here is where the healthy breakfast sabotages the whole operation. When you sit down and eat carbohydrates, oatmeal, fruit, toast, or cereal, your blood sugar rises, and your pancreas responds by flooding your system with insulin. This is the biological conflict. Insulin is an antagonist to fat-burning enzymes. It is a storage hormone. The moment insulin spikes, it slams the exit doors of your fat cells shut. And this is where it gets dangerous. When you have that high morning cortisol colliding with high insulin from breakfast, your body enters a frantic state. It switches from burning energy to aggressively storing it. Specifically, this chemical cocktail activates an enzyme called 11-beta-HSD1, which takes that energy and prioritizes storing it deep inside your abdominal cavity. That is the biological mechanism behind the belly fat that refuses to budge. To visualize what is happening inside you, I want you to imagine your metabolism is a high-tech hybrid car. This car has two fuel sources. First, there is a tiny gas tank, which represents the glycogen stored in your liver. It's quick, easy energy, but it runs out very fast. Second, you have a massive, heavy-duty electric battery in the trunk. This is your body fat. It has enough energy to power you for weeks. Now, picture a physical switch on the dashboard. This switch is insulin. In a metabolically healthy person, that switch is well lubricated. When the gas tank gets low, the switch flips down, the electric battery kicks in, and the car keeps cruising smoothly. You burn fat for fuel. But for many of you, that switch is rusted shut in the gas position. When you eat that carb-heavy breakfast, you are jamming the insulin switch upward. You are physically locking the metal cover over your electric battery. You can actually visualize the battery cables rusting and disconnecting. Because the battery is locked away, your car is forced to run exclusively on that tiny gas tank. And because that tank is so small, it runs dry every 2 to 3 hours. That is why you sputter and smoke. That is why you get the cravings and the shakes. Your engine is demanding a refill because you have mechanically cut off access to your own battery. We have to stop trusting the labels and look at the biochemistry. Take a look at a box of heart-healthy Raisin Bran Crunch. The marketing tells you it is the responsible choice. But biologically, one bowl contains nearly 19 grams of sugar. Compare that to a Krispy Kreme glazed donut, which has about 10 grams of sugar. That healthy bowl of bran is spiking your insulin nearly twice as aggressively as a donut. You are essentially flooding your engine with sugar, jamming that switch, and locking your fat cells, all while thinking you are doing the right thing. We need to lubricate that switch to unlock the battery, and the only way to do that is to change the timing and the fuel. So, how do we sand off that rust, lubricate the switch, and get your body running on battery power again? We don't need a complicated diet book. We need one simple guiding principle, the noon boundary rule. The rule is simple: no insulin spiking calories before 12 p.m. By pushing your first meal to noon, you extend your overnight fast to roughly 16 hours. This gives that morning cortisol surge exactly what it needs, an open highway to drain your fat cells without insulin blocking the traffic. Here is your precise 3-step morning protocol to make this happen without feeling miserable. Step 1 happens immediately upon waking. You need to hydrate and mineralize. Most people wake up dehydrated, but water alone isn't enough. When you lower your insulin, your kidneys flush out water and sodium, a process called natriuresis of fasting. If you don't replace that salt, you will get headaches and feel weak. That is what people call the keto flu, and it is completely preventable. Before you have your coffee, drink 20 ounces of water mixed with a packet of sugar-free electrolytes containing sodium and potassium. This prevents cellular starvation and primes your system. A quick pro tip here: look for liquid I-5 sugar-free, specifically the white peach or lemon lime flavors you can find at Costco, but make sure it says sugar-free to avoid the dextrose spike. Step 2 is where the magic happens. We call this building the bridge. At 8 a.m., or whenever you would usually eat breakfast, you are going to have your black coffee or tea, but you are going to add one specific tool: 1 teaspoon of MCT oil. Now, this isn't just any fat. MCTs, or medium-chain triglycerides, are metabolically unique. Unlike butter or olive oil, which take hours to digest, MCTs bypass your digestion entirely. They go straight to the liver through the portal vein and are instantly converted into ketones. Ketones are high-octane rocket fuel for your brain. This gives you laser-sharp focus and kills your hunger without spiking your insulin by a single point. It bridges the gap between waking up and your first meal at noon. For the best results, look for Sports Research or Bulletproof Brain Octane, and ensure the label specifically says C8 or C10 oil, as these produce the most ketones. Finally, step 3, light and movement. Within 30 minutes of waking up, I need you to get natural light in your eyes and take a 10-minute brisk walk. We aren't trying to burn calories here. We are sending a signal. This movement triggers a cellular sensor called AMPK. Think of AMPK as the traffic controller that ensures the fat released by your cortisol is actually burned for fuel rather than just floating around and being restored. By following these 3 steps, mineralize, bridge, and move, you are coasting into the afternoon on pure battery power, completely bypassing the crash. Now, before you start this tomorrow, I can hear the objection already forming in your mind. We have been told 1,000 times, if you skip breakfast, you will slow down your metabolism and go into starvation mode. Let's get real. That is a myth. The science shows the exact opposite. When you fast for a short period, between 12 and 24 hours, your metabolism does not slow down, it speeds up. Your body increases norepinephrine and growth hormone. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes perfect sense. If a caveman didn't have food, did his body shut down and make him tired? No. It gave him a surge of energy and alertness so he could go out and hunt. Starvation mode is real, but it only happens after days or weeks of chronic starvation, not because you skipped a bowl of oatmeal. However, I have to give you a critical warning. This is not a suggestion. This is a medical safety alert. If you are currently taking medication for type 2 diabetes, specifically insulin or sulfonylureas, or if you are on blood pressure medication like diuretics, do not start this protocol without your doctor's supervision. Here is why this protocol works. It naturally drops your blood sugar and lowers your blood pressure by removing the insulin spike. If you take your normal medication on top of that natural drop, you can crash. You risk fatal hypoglycemia or dangerous electrolyte imbalances. You must work with your doctor to lower your dose as your body heals. For everyone else, understand this. You are not just getting old. You are not destined to be tired but wired for the rest of your life. By simply aligning your eating window with your biology, you are unclogging the machinery that evolution designed to keep you lean. So, here is your challenge. Tomorrow morning, do not eat solid food until 12 p.m. Instead, build the bridge with your coffee and MCT oil and just observe. See if that 2 p.m. brain fog disappears. See if your energy holds steady. If you are ready to fix your engine and reclaim your metabolic flexibility, I want you to click the like button and comment the keyword noon down below. Let's commit to this 24-hour challenge together, and I'll see you in the comments.